In the previous Targum Torah, we explored through a narrative of family conflict how small changes can exist in the text and impact translation and interpretation. In this week's parsha, Vayetze, we see similar themes as we watch Yaakov working for his uncle Laban. Many of us are familiar with the story of Laban tricking his nephew into marrying Leah, his older daughter, before his younger daughter Rachel, even though Yaakov's request and desire was for Rachel. It is not the focus of our discussion today, but it is worth noting that Laban doesn't quite agree to Yaakov's terms when Yaakov begins his 7-year employment contract. In Bereshit 29:19, Laban merely says, "It is better, literally good, that I give her, Rachel, assumed, to you than I give her to another man. Tov titi ota lach, mitati ota leish acher." Ever the crafty businessman, Laban gives himself leeway to operate. In neither case does he name Rachel, nor does he actually say that he'll give his daughter to Yaakov. The part of the parsha that I want to look at this week is Yaakov's relationship to Leah and Rachel after he married both daughters. In Bereshit 29:30, we read, "Vayavo gam el Rachel, vayehav gam et Rachel mileah, vayavod imo od sheva shanim acherot," which I translate as, "He, Yaakov, came to Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah. He, Yaakov, worked with him, Laban, another 7 years afterwards." The part that I want to call out here is that he loved Rachel. The also tells us clearly that he loves Leah. I have chosen to take the the mem, from, here as showing the distinction from Leah, as more than, reading with the standard Jewish commentaries. Regarding the context of the verse, you can see this in the Rashbam. The Radak, another commentator, supports this idea that Yaakov loves Leah even though she wasn't his first choice in marriage. Important to supporting this view is the use of gam, also, in gam et Rachel, also Rachel. Targum Onkelos keeps the word af in its translation, which also gets an additional meaning in the Aramaic of moreover, which may work well actually in this context. Conversely, to all of this, the Septuagint rewrites the verse and deletes also, thus leaving the possible reading that Yaakov doesn't love Leah in the first part of the verse. Kai eslethem pros Rachel, apagasen de Rachel, malen he Lean. He, Yaakov, came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. So, simply comparing the two verses, in the Hebrew Masoretic text we have, he came to Rachel, and he also loved Rachel more than Leah. The Septuagint we have, he came to Rachel, and he loved Rachel more than Leah. The translator of the Septuagint has deleted a single word that looks strange syntactically, but in my opinion, and reading along with the Rashbam and Radak, the Hebrew is correct syntactically. We have other examples in the Torah of this syntax with gam to support this point. The choice of the translator, though subtle, makes a big impact on how to read the next verse. Vayar Hashem ki shenua Leah, vayiftach et rachma, v'rachel achara. The Lord saw that Leah was hated, and he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. Now we have to ask a question. Who hates Leah? She's hated. If we read it with the Hebrew, we know that Yaakov loves Leah. So this must be referring to, we know that Yaakov loves Leah. So this must be referring to Rachel, hating her older sister. This may explain why Rachel's barren status is connected to the hatred of Leah. Otherwise, if we read it with the Septuagint's translation, there is a greater degree of interpretation and ambiguity. And perhaps Leah is also hated by Yaakov, or Rachel, or both Yaakov and Rachel. And with that, I want to say thank you for joining me for another week of Targum Torah, and I hope that you'll join us again in the coming week. Thank you.